Hey, Pretty Girl Club. So, today I'm going to talk about how to give yourself the soft life. I'm going to kind of talk about my journey of how I was able to define what the soft life is for me and how I was able to start giving that to myself. So, I believe that the soft life has multiple components. I think that the soft life is about things like privilege stacking, social climbing, mental health, and of course, decentering men and decentering other people, like not externalizing your happiness so much. I think that a lot of YouTube channels that talk about the concept of the soft life, they tend to always tie it to whether or not a man picks you. And then they even sometimes imply that if a man dumps you or if a guy doesn't pick you for marriage or a relationship, then somehow your life is going to be harder. But we know based on statistics that if you actually look up articles about women who are married or divorce statistics, a lot of women actually end up aging once they get into marriages. They end up becoming more stressed out, they end up gaining more weight, and a lot of women actually end up suffering with chronic illnesses because they revolve their lives around these long-term relationships, or they care for others so much to the point where they are neglecting themselves. So I actually believe that a lot of the things that people talk about that are supposed to lead to the soft life, they actually lead to the exact opposite. They lead to you neglecting yourself, being an emotional martyr, being an emotional punching bag for your husband or children, and just kind of being in this constant caregiver and caretaking role. And I don't think that that's living the soft life. I think that the soft life is really about centering yourself. It's really about taking all of that energy that you would have put into someone else and putting it back into yourself. So instead of worrying about how can I care for this man, how can I care for all these kids, you can start asking yourself, what can I do to care for myself today? What can I do to make my own life easier? A lot of people get mad at single women or child-free women because women who are unmarried, women who are child-free, they tend to have more free time to invest in themselves. And by the way, I'm not saying you can't invest in yourself if you have children or if you're in a relationship. But let's talk about the first building block to a soft life, which in my opinion is social climbing. When I use the term social climbing, what I really mean is you are leveling up in terms of your socioeconomic status. So that could mean going from being poor to being middle class, or going from middle class to upper middle class, or going from upper middle class to becoming rich. That is one aspect of social climbing. Another thing that I mean when I use the term social climbing is making your actual social life look how you want it to look. So we all know that a lot of men, for example, have a loneliness epidemic. That's because a lot of men lack social skills. We already know that the reason they lack social skills is due to not being socialized to express their emotions or build emotional connections. So the advantage you have as a woman, though, as a person who is naturally more in tune with your own emotions or naturally more emotionally intelligent, if you want to social climb, you can easily make friends by just going out to different events. I've noticed that almost every public social event I have ever gone to, it is mostly women because a lot of women understand the power of social connections. I've talked about this before in the Patreon, but I have done things by myself where I have gone to support groups by myself. Just to like meet people and to talk and stuff. I have gone to meetups where they like play board games at a cafe before. I've gone to different fitness groups, so like running groups, walking groups, yoga groups, Pilates class. I've also signed up for a gym, and that gym offers different like Zumba classes and stuff. So if you keep showing up to the Zumba class, eventually you're going to get to know the other girls in the class, or you'll get to know the teacher. So all of those interactions, those are all opportunities to have a positive social interaction, basically. Those are good opportunities to meet friends. Those are good opportunities to form connections with people. Not only is this going to help you when it comes to business ideas or networking, but this is actually proven to increase your mental health, social connections, even something as simple as going to the same coffee shop every day and talking to the girl at the coffee shop or talking to your favorite waiter at the restaurant. Those things are actually improving your mental health. So I noticed that one side effect for me when it came to meeting people and going to different yoga classes and stuff and just talking to other girls that I meet. One effect that it had was it actually lowered my anxiety. So I used to have anxiety sometimes when I was younger, or like if I was at a toxic job or something. And sometimes it would even get to the point where I used to have anxiety or panic attacks. But I noticed that the more I began to socially connect with other people, the more sense of a belonging I had. And also, since I had more of an ability to vent to others, like if something was going bad, it helped me to recognize the fact that I'm not crazy, I'm not delusional. And that's really the whole point of this entire community on YouTube. It's so you can recognize that you're not delusional, and also you are not alone. You're not the only one who thinks the way you think. You're not crazy. And we also have a really good community in the Patreon. We have a Discord in there. And so we like to vent about what's happening at work and stuff like that. But having a space where you are emotionally safe, that is good for your mental health. That actually lowers levels of anxiety, it lowers depression, and it helps your mental well being. Social interactions also create what's called a positive feedback loop. And that actually builds your self esteem. So, when I say a positive feedback loop, what I mean is, for example, let's say you join a gym and you go to Zumba class and you show up like for a whole month, and every time you come to the class, you are getting better at doing those dance moves in the class. And then let's say some other girls in the class are like, hey, you're so good at these moves, like, good job. That's an example of a positive feedback loop because you keep showing up, you keep getting better, and then you keep getting positive feedback. And then you keep showing up to the class again. And it's just a loop that helps contribute to your self esteem getting higher and higher. And then before you know it, not only are you good at dancing, not only are you good at doing the moves, but also your body is looking good and you're in a positive environment where people are actively encouraging you. That is why social interaction is important. And in my opinion, social interactions are a big part of the soft life. I actually don't think that women should depend on a man to get all of their social interactions with him because we all know that a lot of men tend to lack social skills. So I actually think that a big component of the soft life is having positive social interactions with other women. Because when it comes to men, this is the pretty girl club. You're already going to receive your pretty privilege from them anyway. So I kind of feel like you don't really have to put in a whole bunch of effort in that area. And also, I don't want women risking their safety and doing all of these pick me behaviors, hoping to gain more positive social interactions with men. But another one of the benefits of having strong social connections like friendships or acquaintances or people that kind of know you, another benefit is this can actually increase your lifespan. So your friends may be able to recognize if you are dehydrated or if you're feeling down or, maybe you have a lump on the back of your neck that you couldn't see, but like your friends could see it. Sometimes it's important to have friends because your friends are the ones who, they do the wellness checks if they don't hear from you. I know that for me, if I don't hear from my friends for a couple of weeks, I will text and be like, hey, how are you? How's everything going? Last I heard you were with that guy, like just checking in on you. Is everything okay? Friends can actually provide you with a sense of safety. And even if you are in a relationship, the guy you're with is not going to want to do every single hobby with you. He's not going to want to go makeup shopping with you. He's not going to want to go get your nails and toes done or go to the hair salon or, go get facials. He may not want to do all of those things. So that's why I promote on this channel having a lot of female friendships because female friends bring a lot of adventure into your life. Like having other women around you who are positive, that actually brings a lot of spontaneity into your life because, for example, women tend to be a lot more thoughtful when it comes to planning out like a girls' night. Like I know that some of the girls that I'm around, whenever they plan a girls' night, they will make it all cute. They'll do like a tea party and like have all of these little tablecloths and decorations, and then it's just so much fun. Like it's more of a fun memorable experience versus, you're just hanging out with a guy and he's kind of scrolling his phone while you're at Sephora. But another big component of the soft life, in my opinion, is having things to look forward to. So let's say you've got your social life going, you've got your friend group going, maybe you're in a healthy relationship, or maybe you are happily single. Another component of the soft life is having things to look forward to for yourself. So it could be a certain holiday. Maybe your favorite holiday is 4th of July. Maybe your favorite holiday is Memorial Day or something. Having small things that you can look forward to, that actually helps your brain to fight off depression. It helps you to fight off thoughts of loneliness or thoughts of negativity. So one thing that I like to do is I like to decorate my apartment for the different holidays, or I will plan something special for myself, like maybe a special family gathering because, a particular special day is coming up. Having things to look forward to, that actually has been proven to boost your mood. Like all you have to do is look on Google, and there are plenty of articles that talk about how looking forward to vacations or looking forward to, dressing up for a special event and stuff, that helps you to get your mind in more of a positive space. And also, it helps you to the point where, let's say you're at work and you're having a bad day, you don't feel like your whole world is bad because your whole world isn't revolving around work. You have things to look forward to outside of work. In fact, in my opinion, a part of why a lot of men are so lonely and stressed out and have high cortisol levels is because they don't have anything to look forward to in life outside of work, video games, and porn. So, as a woman, the advantage you have is if you have girlfriends or a sister or a cousin or a family friend, someone that you can hang out with, even an old lady who lives near you. Like I remember when I used to be in the church, I would hang out with the old ladies in the church because they were just so sweet. They also liked baking. Sometimes we would bake together and stuff. But having things to look forward to outside of your mundane everyday tasks, that actually helps you to be in more of a positive headspace. And so, in my opinion, the soft life is really all about your mental health. How are you feeling mentally? Do you feel soft on the inside? Like mentally speaking, are you thinking thoughts of soft things or are you just in survival mode? Because I kind of feel like the opposite of the soft life would be you're in survival mode, you're overwhelmed, you're exhausted, you kind of feel like you're drowning, you feel like you're constantly falling behind on all of your tasks. Maybe you feel like you've got chores piling up, you've got a bunch of things that are left undone. That's kind of the opposite of the soft life. So, in my opinion, the soft life really means that the thoughts that you're thinking are thoughts of something carefree. So, I've talked about this in the Patreon before. I want you to think about the time in your life when you were the most happy. What types of thoughts were you thinking? Were you the most happy when you were in your early 20s, or maybe when you were a teenager, maybe when you were a child? What were you thinking about a lot of times? Were you thinking, oh, it's going to be so much fun when I go roller skating this weekend? Wow, what am I going to wear to that party? I'm so excited to start my new job. I'm so happy that I got my promotion. Oh, it's payday. I just got my bags. Wow, I'm so glad that I have all of this money. So notice how a lot of times when you look back on the best times of your life, you tend to have more positive thoughts, more thoughts of things that you are grateful for. Like this is a part of why people say you should be grateful for stuff every single day because you're kind of training your brain to get into that softer state. You're training your brain to think about positive things, things you're looking forward to, things you're happy about. But if you think back on all of your best memories, the reason those are your best memories is because oftentimes the thoughts you were thinking in that moment were thoughts of positivity. You were looking forward to a certain thing, or you were excited in that moment. You were happy in that moment. You were just kind of taking it in and feeling almost like this emotional high, like this emotional happiness in that moment. So, in my opinion, the soft life is about cultivating that feeling as much as possible. And it doesn't mean you have to be super excited and high all the time on life, because I actually believe that peace is happiness. I believe that happiness doesn't have to be this very overwhelming, smiling emotion. I believe that a part of happiness is actually just the absence of chaos. It's the absence of toxicity. It's the absence of drama. So in my opinion, peace is actually a big part of happiness. When nobody's lying to you, you're not going back and forth with anyone, you're not arguing with anyone over text message, you're not sending each other nasty emails and, backstabbing and stuff. You don't have any drama in your friend group. You just have a peaceful life. In my opinion, that is another big component of the soft life. It's peace. Your life has been cleansed from toxic, dusty situations, from dusty, toxic friendships. You've been cleansed from toxic people. You've kind of like remove those people out of your life. And so now your thoughts are no longer consumed with, oh crap, Keisha's going to be mad at me today. Oh crap, Sarah's not talking to me today. I wonder if she's in a bad mood. I wonder what's going on now. You don't have to think thoughts like that anymore because you have removed the people in your life who were causing the chaos. And for some of you, that means removing certain family members. And I've talked about this in the Patreon before too. That's okay if you have to remove certain family members because I believe that you can love people from a distance. I believe that you can set healthy boundaries. And, just because you don't see anyone, just because you don't see a family member for a long time, it doesn't mean that you're actively beefing with them. It just means that maybe you want to go down a different path in life. And so you don't want to be around the negative comments. You don't want to be around people who talk bad about your business or people who kind of talk down on your dreams or closed-minded people. That's okay. That's all a part of the social climbing process. It's when you are removing the negative social connections from your life, you're removing those friendships or the guys from your life who are bringing negative emotions to you, and you are replacing those people with positive interactions. So women who are uplifting, women who they also want to level up. So they're not worried about you. They're not trying to tear you down. Like for me, my type as far as friendships, I prefer a friend who is, she's already got her own stuff going for herself. Like I want friends they're already pretty, they're already in shape, they're already pursuing their dreams or pursuing their passions in some way. For those of you who have heard me talk about my friends, they are too busy succeeding in life to be all up in my business and, kind of nitpicking what I'm doing. So you may want to start thinking, what is my type in terms of friendships? Because I talk a lot about types when it comes to dating, and I know a lot of people talk about that, but I actually believe in the concept of a friendship type as well. I don't thrive well around friends who are like very obnoxious and, they want to go twerk on tables and, they want to get in fights at bars and stuff. I don't thrive around friends like that because that is not exciting to me. So to other women, maybe that is exciting and maybe that's their friendship type. They like to talk about that stuff later on. Maybe they like to laugh about that stuff later on. That's just not my type as far as friends. It doesn't mean that I'm looking down on those types of women or I'm trying to like put down other women, but it's okay to admit to yourself what type of social interactions you want to have because that's all going to be a part of your social climbing journey. Having friends who get into fights at bars and then they want to like twerk on tables and throw drinks, that is not going to help me meet my social climbing goals because I'm not trying to be on Love and Hip Hop. I'm not trying to be on Basketball Wives. That's not my goal. So I don't want to be around women who act like that. But another part of living the soft life for me is consistently working towards my own personal goals. I've noticed that a lot of women who kind of like fail in life, or a lot of women who are stressed out and overwhelmed, they have spent all of their time and energy trying to chase someone else's goal or trying to help someone else with their goals. So they're trying to help their boss at work all the time. They're trying to help their kids meet their goals. They're trying to help their family members meet their goals. They're trying to help their aging parents or their husband. And it's not a bad thing to be kind and loving and to want others to succeed. That's actually a good quality. But in my opinion, you can't really pour from an empty cup. So a lot of times I know that for me, if I am not spending any time pouring into myself, but then I spend all of my time pouring into others, eventually I'm going to grow to resent those others because I'm going to associate my own failure with me pouring into them. So in order to prevent that, I try to pour into myself first. So like the first thing in the morning, I will do my journaling routine, or I will, start planning my goals, or I'll do my workout. I'll make sure to get a nice, good hour-long workout in, a good 2-hour workout, go on my walk, go on my hike, or do whatever I need to do to invest in myself before I turn around and try to invest in others. So a part of what the soft life means to me is having the time and the space to create the lifestyle that I want, like to curate my lifestyle and make it look exactly how I want it to look. So that means things like my diet. Like I really associate, I'm like one of those grocery snobs. So I associate the soft life with the types of groceries I have, the types of meals I'm eating. So yes, I want to have time every week to kind of like meal prep or look up recipes and try to figure out like, okay, what do I want to make for myself this week? How can I incorporate more of these healthy fruits and vegetables into my diet so I can grow my hair out? In my opinion, those are softer thoughts versus, oh crap, I'm getting fat. Oh my gosh, I ate processed food all week. Oh my gosh, I need to try to hurry up and cook for this guy and impress him. Oh man, I messed up on the recipe. Those are not soft thoughts, in my opinion. In my opinion, having a soft life in terms of mental health, it just means that my thoughts are bringing me peace. My thoughts are bringing me positive feelings. Because remember, your thoughts are what creates your emotions, by the way. Just a side note, your thoughts create your emotions. So if you're constantly thinking negative thoughts or you are putting yourself in a scenario where your thought process is going to be negative, then yes, of course you're going to feel stressed out. Of course you're going to feel discouraged. But another thing that helps me to feel a sense of having a soft life in terms of privilege stacking, I actually believe that it is a privilege, a huge privilege, to be able to invest time and energy into your hobbies and passions. Having time to do your hobbies or to do your passion in life, that is absolutely a privilege that most people will not get to do. And so for me, that's very important to be able to spend time doing the things that I love, being able to spend time cultivating my creativity, creating content online. Well, I love doing that. That's my passion and my hobby. So I like being able to set aside time at night where I just get to record and just go on my laptop and just tinker around and make videos. So I want you to think, like, what are your hobbies? What are your passions? If money didn't exist, what would you be doing with your time? Would you be knitting or crocheting something? Would you be creating art, maybe doing some paintings? Would you be out skateboarding or doing some leisurely activities like going surfing or longboarding or something like that? What would you be doing if money didn't exist? That will help point you in the direction of what your passions are or what your hobbies are. Would you be singing? Would you be writing songs or performing? Or would you join some sort of dance team and, perform on a stage or be in a parade? One of my like bucket list things that I've always wanted to do is be in a parade. I have no idea how to be in a parade. I don't even know where to begin, but I always thought it would be cool to somehow be in a parade. Like, you know how they have people who are on the floats and they dress up as a princess or something, or they kind of dress with the theme of the parade and they just like wave and stuff, or maybe they throw candy or they throw beads off to the side. That is something I've always wanted to do. And yes, that is a very small, and a very random hobby or a dream that I have, but I want you to think like, what are some small things that are kind of on your bucket list that you've always wanted to try, but maybe you never had the time to, or maybe you just didn't do it in the past. I feel like the soft life and privilege stacking in particular, it's giving yourself the time and space to be able to even think about what you want to do. Because some people, they don't know their passions or their hobbies. They don't know themselves. And that's because they don't have the privilege and the luxury of time. It means that their mind is so deep into just trying to survive. They're just so far in survival mode. They're just trying to get through the day and stuff, to where they're not thinking about their futures. They're not thinking about what type of fun they want to have this weekend. They're not thinking about what they're going to do as soon as they're off work, because they're already in survival mode. They're like, oh no, I have to like do more work when I get home, basically. So for me, the soft life is really about all of those things I mentioned. So social climbing, privilege stacking, making time for your hobbies and passions, and making time to achieve your own goals. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.